Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are exploring one of the most overlooked yet historically meaningful coins from the Middle East, the Iraq II fils coin, a small denomination that carries a powerful story of Iraq's monarchy era, early republic identity, and economic transition, because although this coin appears simple in size and value, it represents a critical period in Iraqi numismatic history when the country was defining itself after gaining independence. The II fils coin was introduced as part of Iraq's modern decimal currency system where one Iraqi dinar was divided into 1,000 fils, making this coin a very low denomination used for daily transactions by ordinary citizens, shopkeepers, and market traders. Most notably during the reign of King Faisal II and later transitional periods, early Iraq II fils coins were typically minted in bronze or copper-based alloys, giving them a dark brown or reddish tone that aged beautifully over time. The obverse design commonly featured the portrait of the ruling monarch or the national emblem depending on the year, while the reverse proudly displayed the denomination II fils in Arabic script along with decorative elements inspired by Islamic art and Mesopotamian heritage. These design choices were intentional, reflecting Iraq's desire to balance modern statehood with ancient cultural roots. The calligraphy used on the coin is particularly admired by collectors because Arabic numerals and script were engraved with elegance and clarity despite the coin's tiny diameter. Most Iraq II fils coins were struck at foreign mints such as the Royal Mint in London, which ensured high production quality, sharp strikes, and consistent weight standards, typically around 2 to 3 grams depending on the year, with a small diameter that made the coin practical for circulation but challenging to preserve in high grades today because of heavy use. Many surviving examples show wear, smoothing, and corrosion, which makes well-preserved pieces especially desirable among collectors of Middle Eastern and Arab world coinage. The Iraq II fils coin also reflects the economic realities of its time, when such small denominations still had real purchasing power, used to buy bread, tea, or small household items, something almost unimaginable today, and this practical usage is exactly why the coin is so historically rich, as it passed through countless hands during a transformative era in Iraq's social and political life, making every surviving piece a silent witness to markets, streets, and daily life of mid-20th century Iraq. Beyond its physical appearance and daily use, the Iraq II fils coin also serves as an important marker of Iraq's monetary sovereignty, because before independence the region relied heavily on foreign-controlled currency systems, and the issuance of national coins like the II fils symbolized economic self-determination, state authority, and national pride. Especially during the Hashemite kingdom period when Iraq was positioning itself as a modern Arab nation with deep historical roots, the inscriptions on the coin were not merely functional but symbolic, often including the country name, Kingdom of Iraq, or later, Republic of Iraq, reflecting political shifts that collectors can trace simply by studying different issues of the same denomination. This makes the II fils coin an excellent educational tool for beginners in numismatics because it teaches how political change directly impacts coinage design, language, and symbolism. Over time, the coin's metal composition and minting quality evolved as Iraq faced economic pressures, global metal shortages, and regional instability, which is why later issues may appear thinner, lighter, or less sharply struck compared to earlier monarch-era pieces. Yet these variations only add to the historical narrative rather than diminish the coin's importance. From a collector's perspective today, the Iraq II fils coin is affordable yet meaningful, making it highly attractive to world coin collectors, Middle Eastern specialists, and even history enthusiasts who may not normally collect coins. Prices generally range from a few dollars in circulated condition to higher values for uncirculated or proof-like examples, especially those with low mintage years or sharp original surfaces. Error coins such as off-center strikes, weak legends, or planchet flaws are extremely scarce and can command significant premiums when authenticated, and while the II fils denomination was eventually phased out as inflation reduced its purchasing power, its survival in collections ensures that this humble coin continues to tell the story of Iraq's early monetary system, national identity, and everyday life, proving that even the smallest denomination can carry enormous historical weight. As the circulation life of the Iraq II fils coin expanded across cities like Baghdad, Basra, Mosul, and Kirkuk, it became a silent witness to everyday Iraqi life, passing through the hands of shopkeepers, farmers, students, and laborers, buying basic necessities such as bread, tea, or public transport services, which gives this small coin a deeply human connection that modern collectors often overlook. Because, unlike high-denomination commemoratives, the II fils was a coin of the people, struck in large quantities to support daily commerce during a time when Iraq's economy was still developing and largely cash-based. Minting was commonly outsourced to foreign mints such as the Royal Mint in London, which explains the high-quality strikes and professional craftsmanship seen on early issues, including sharp rims, well-defined Arabic script, and balanced design symmetry, these foreign mint marks, when present, add another layer of collectible interest as they reveal Iraq's economic and diplomatic relationships during the mid-20th century. Over time, the coin's design consistency helped establish trust in the national currency, which was crucial for a young nation transitioning from colonial influence to self-rule, and while the denomination itself held minimal monetary value, its psychological value in reinforcing a stable monetary system was significant, especially during periods of political change such as the 1958 revolution when Iraq transitioned from monarchy to republic. Subsequent issues of the two fils reflected this shift through subtle but meaningful changes in inscriptions and national symbols, making it possible for collectors today to visually track Iraq's political timeline through coinage alone. Numismatically, the coin is classified as a minor bronze or aluminum bronze issue depending on the year, with diameter and weight standards that were modest but functional. Edge styles were typically plain, reinforcing its utilitarian purpose, and although the coin eventually disappeared from circulation due to inflation and currency reforms, its survival in collections, hoards, and estate finds has preserved a tangible piece of Iraq's monetary heritage. Today, demand for Iraq II fils coins continues to rise slowly as global interest in Middle Eastern numismatics grows, driven by collectors seeking historically rich yet affordable coins, ensuring that this once overlooked denomination remains relevant not for its face value, but for the powerful story it carries across generations. Beyond its role in daily transactions, the Iraq II fils coin also served as an educational symbol of national identity, especially in rural areas where literacy rates were still developing, because the Arabic inscriptions, numerals, and emblematic imagery on the coin familiarized ordinary citizens with state symbols every time they exchanged money, reinforcing a shared sense of belonging to the nation. The choice of simple yet dignified design elements was intentional, avoiding excessive ornamentation while maintaining clarity and authority, which aligned with Iraq's broader goal of presenting itself as a modern yet culturally rooted state. Metal composition choices were influenced by both cost efficiency and durability, ensuring the coin could withstand years of circulation in harsh climates ranging from desert heat to humid river valleys. Many surviving examples show smooth wear patterns rather than damage, indicating heavy but respectful use from a numismatic perspective. This wear tells a story of economic movement rather than neglect. Minting quantities varied by year depending on economic demand, population growth, and government fiscal planning, making certain dates scarcer today despite the coin's low denomination. Collectors who specialize in Iraqi coinage often seek fully legible examples with centered strikes and minimal corrosion, as bronze-based alloys can react strongly to environmental conditions if improperly stored. Historically, the gradual disappearance of the two fils from circulation mirrors Iraq's economic shifts, including rising inflation and the eventual need for higher denomination coins and banknotes, yet its memory remains strong among older generations who recall a time when even the smallest coin held purchasing power. This nostalgic connection has added cultural value beyond catalog listings, making the coin appealing not only to investors but also to historians and diaspora collectors seeking a tangible link to pre-sanctions, pre-war Iraq. As international numismatic markets continue to diversify, coins like the Iraq II fils are increasingly appreciated for their storytelling power, representing an era of simplicity, transition, and national formation, ensuring that this modest coin remains an important chapter in Iraq's monetary narrative rather than a forgotten footnote. The story of this coin becomes even more compelling when we examine its role through the lens of circulation, rarity, and evolving collector interest, because although the two fils was minted as a low-value everyday coin, its survival rate today is far lower than many higher denominations, largely due to heavy circulation, melting, loss, and decades of political and economic instability that affected coin preservation across Iraq. Many pieces were simply worn flat and discarded, while others were lost during periods of upheaval, making well-preserved examples surprisingly difficult to locate, especially outside the Middle East. Numismatists studying Iraqi coinage often note that original mint luster is extremely rare on this denomination, which elevates the desirability of any specimen showing sharp details, full legends, and intact surfaces. Even modestly graded pieces attract attention because they represent authentic circulation history rather than hoarded collectibles. The coin's diameter and thickness were intentionally modest, allowing efficient mass production while conserving metal resources, a crucial consideration for a developing economy. Yet despite its size, the engravings were executed with precision, reflecting the technical competence of the minting authority and its collaboration with foreign mints during certain periods. Variations in strike quality, rim thickness, and die alignment across different years provide collectors with subtle diagnostics that help attribute mint batches and production phases. This has led to increased academic interest in cataloging die varieties and minor design adjustments that were previously overlooked. In recent years, global interest in Middle Eastern coinage has grown, driven by collectors seeking diversification beyond traditional European and American series, and the Iraq II Fils has benefited from this trend, appearing more frequently in auctions, online marketplaces, and specialized numismatic forums. Pricing remains accessible, which makes it an attractive entry point for new collectors, yet rare dates or higher-grade examples can command premiums far exceeding expectations for such a small coin, especially when accompanied by historical provenance. The emotional resonance of the coin cannot be overstated. For many Iraqis and collectors of world coins, it represents stability, routine, and everyday life before dramatic national transformations. This emotional layer adds intangible value that often outweighs pure metal content or catalog pricing. Museums and private collections increasingly include the II Fils as part of broader narratives about Iraq's economic history, modernization efforts, and cultural symbolism, ensuring its legacy continues to grow within the numismatic world. As awareness spreads, demand is likely to rise steadily, positioning this humble coin as a meaningful collectible rather than merely a minor denomination from the past. As the collecting landscape continues to evolve, the deeper layers of significance surrounding this coin become clearer when examined through economic context, minting policy, and regional circulation patterns. Because the II Fils denomination was never intended to be preserved or admired, it was meant to move constantly from hand to hand in markets, cafes, transport fares, and small daily purchases, which is precisely why surviving examples today carry such historical weight. Economists studying Iraqi monetary history often point out that low-denomination coins like this one provide the clearest window into inflation trends, purchasing power, and everyday life, far more than high-value commemoratives or precious metal issues. During the years this coin circulated, it reflected a period when even the smallest monetary unit still held real value, capable of buying goods or services, a reality that has largely disappeared in many modern economies. The metal composition was chosen not for prestige but for durability and cost efficiency, ensuring the coin could withstand years of heavy use while remaining economical to produce. Yet this utilitarian choice also means corrosion, surface spotting, and environmental damage are common today, making clean examples increasingly scarce. Collectors carefully examine edge wear, strike sharpness, and remaining detail in central devices to determine whether a coin was heavily circulated or briefly used before being lost or stored. This has led to a growing appreciation for mid-grade pieces that show honest wear without damage, as they best represent the coin's original purpose. Auction records reveal that demand is strongest among collectors specializing in Middle Eastern history, former colonial and Mandate-era coinage, and thematic collections focused on small denominations. Educational institutions also use such coins as teaching tools, demonstrating how currency reflects sovereignty, governance, and national identity. Especially in regions with complex political histories, the Iraqi II Fils quietly embodies these themes, carrying symbols of authority and statehood in a form accessible to every citizen at the time. Its understated design avoids extravagance, instead emphasizing clarity, legibility, and functionality, qualities that resonate with modern collectors who value authenticity over spectacle. As global numismatics shifts toward storytelling and cultural context rather than pure rarity alone, this coin's profile continues to rise, proving that even the smallest denomination can hold a powerful narrative and lasting relevance within the world of coin collecting. As collectors move deeper into the advanced study of the Iraqi II Fils coin, Part 3a naturally focuses on the rarities, variations, errors, and subtle differences that transform what appears to be a simple low-denomination coin into a serious object of numismatic pursuit. Because while millions of these coins were struck, not all were created equal, and small differences in year, minting quality, metal composition, and production circumstances have produced varieties that command far more attention and value today. Some years saw lower mintages due to economic slowdowns, political instability, or shifts in monetary policy, resulting in noticeably scarcer issues that are difficult to locate even in circulated condition. Collectors often discover that early dates from certain series are significantly harder to find than later mass-produced examples, especially when original mint records are incomplete or disputed, which adds an extra layer of intrigue to research and attribution. Minting errors also play a role in elevating interest, including off-center strikes, weak strikes where central design elements appear faded, clipped planchets caused by metal cutting mistakes, and die cracks that create raised lines across the surface, all of which occurred due to the fast-paced, high-volume production environment in which these coins were made. Another fascinating aspect involves metal composition changes, as some issues were struck in different alloys depending on global metal prices and domestic resource availability, resulting in subtle color differences ranging from lighter brass tones to darker bronze hues. Experienced collectors learn to identify these differences by weight, sound, and visual texture, while beginners often overlook them entirely. There are also edge variations and thickness differences that suggest experimentation or multiple production batches, which remain an under-researched area of Iraqi coinage and present opportunities for discovery. High-grade uncirculated examples are exceptionally rare because the coin was designed for daily use and entered circulation immediately, meaning most pieces suffered heavy wear within months. This makes mint-state or near-mint-state survivors highly desirable, often commanding strong prices at auction despite the coin's modest face value. Provenance can further increase desirability, especially coins traced to old collections assembled during the mid-20th century, before widespread hoarding or modern grading practices. Errors combined with high-grade preservation represent the pinnacle of collectability for this type, and competition for such pieces has increased steadily as Middle Eastern numismatics gains global recognition. Part 3a ultimately highlights how the Iraqi 2 fils coin transitions from a common circulation piece into a field rich with research potential, hidden rarity, and collector-driven discovery, setting the stage for the final discussion of market values, investment trends, and long-term outlook in the concluding section. As we conclude the journey with Part 3b, the focus turns fully toward values, market trends, long-term collectability, and the emotional appeal that makes the Iraqi 2 fils coin far more than just a small piece of metal, because in today's numismatic market this coin occupies a unique position where affordability meets historical depth. Circulated examples are still accessible to beginner collectors and world coin enthusiasts, often selling for modest prices depending on condition and year, but as condition improves the value rises sharply, especially for coins showing full detail, original luster, and minimal contact marks. Uncirculated or near-uncirculated specimens are genuinely scarce and can command surprisingly strong premiums, particularly when certified or attributed to scarcer dates. Error coins such as off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, or dramatic die cracks can multiply value many times over, with serious collectors willing to pay significant sums for. Visually striking and well-documented errors, the market for Iraqi coins has grown steadily in recent years as collectors expand beyond traditional US and European issues and seek coins that represent underexplored histories, political change, and regional identity. Auction results show increasing interest from Middle Eastern collectors, diaspora communities, and academic numismatists, which has helped stabilize and slowly raise prices. Another factor influencing value is historical context. Coins associated with earlier monarchies, regime transitions, or key economic reforms tend to attract more attention and long-term demand, making the Iraqi 2 fils a strong representative of everyday life during a formative period of the nation's modern history. Collectors are also beginning to assemble complete date runs and variety sets, which naturally drives competition for scarcer issues. Looking ahead, the long-term outlook for this coin is positive, not because it will suddenly become rare in absolute terms, but because knowledge, research, and appreciation continue to grow. Coins once ignored in bulk lots are now being carefully examined, cataloged, and preserved, turning overlooked pieces into respected collectibles. Beyond monetary value, the Iraqi 2 fils carries cultural significance as a symbol of daily commerce, national identity, and the shared experience of generations who used it in markets, shops, and streets. Owning one connects the collector directly to that lived history, making it meaningful regardless of price. And this blend of accessibility, research potential, historical depth, and growing global interest is what ensures the Iraqi 2 fils coin will remain relevant and desirable for years to come, offering both educational value and collecting satisfaction to anyone who takes the time to truly study it. Thanks for watching.